the crack was strong that night. Though I suspect something more than Pete Bog.
What are you talking about? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arguments and Logic, Episode 5, the Christmas Special.
Where we put the critic in critical thinking.
Indeed. I'm Robert Sykes.
And I am Patrick Frazier.
Aren't you forgetting to wish everyone a Merry Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Merry Xmas. I even have a gift for you in the form of a clickbait headline, which is what our point five fan looks for from us. Elon Musk unmasked as Scrooge with a single tweet in debt ceiling plot. Or is it a cover up for aliens stealing Christmas, masquerading as drones over New Jersey? I know you have a theory that you've
Wow.
been hiding from me, Robert.
That is one heck of a headline there, I gotta say, right to start off with.
I wanted
So,
to do a mashup to just bring everything together.
it makes sense. Let's talk about Elon Musk to start. I mean, I don't really pay much attention to the. I mean, do we still call it a tweet, or is it like an X shout, or is it an X factor, or I feel like they need another thing now since there is no bird anymore, and it's not Twitter. Why are we still calling them tweets?
Because there
And
isn't a
let me
good
let me
name.
say one more thing before you comment. And it really drives me crazy when people are like, when on the news they're like, X, formerly Twitter. Yeah, we
Mhm.
all fucking know that it was Twitter. Like, you don't we don't need you to drop that in there. We got it.
Right, right. Yeah, I don't think there's any good reason why we don't call it something else. I just don't think anything else fits. So tweet
I'm going
whatever.
with X Factor.
X Factor, right? My only real quick take on this is just the fact that it's ridiculous that we play this like chicken game of debt ceiling every 6 months or so with the Republicans and Democrats squabbling over who shut down the government. We've been doing it my entire life since I've been following politics since I was like 14 years old. And it's just
So what
silly.
was
There's
the
like,
point of the debt ceiling to start with? Like, why did we implement this? I mean, it sounds like some half-assed attempt to curb spending. Um, I mean, what's the idea?
that's my understanding. I'll admit I would have to really do more of a deep dive, but that's what I just always assumed was the case. But if that's is the case, it's had the exact opposite effect because Elon Musk does this quote tweet saying that there's waste, fraud, and abuse, but really any rational actor in Congress who, no matter how fiscally conservative they are, is going to ignore the waste, fraud, and abuse because they don't want to risk us losing, our standing in the financial arena as, the leading currency and shut down the government for a prolonged period of time. So they're going to vote for any insanely wasteful bill regardless because they don't want to you know risk that existential threat of devaluing our currency or whatever. And I
Well, and,
almost
and on top of that, they always raise it anyways, and so
yes,
this is just like a terrible enabling parent, right? Like they're like, you gotta save money so that you can pay your rent, and they're like, Dad, I don't have rent money again, and you're like, I'll just pay it for you because I don't want you to get evicted, and then the next month comes along, and they're like, I don't have rent money again, Dad, and you just keep paying it over and over again, and you're trying to teach them to be fiscally conservative and responsible, but they never will be. So either things need to have consequences. This is a problem with all kinds of things in our society, right? Um, these crazy rules out there, like there's a website privacy policy and cookie policy laws. Like, who's enforcing that? Who is somebody going around looking at every single website, or is there a web crawler out there to make sure that your privacy policy is up to date if you're, and if you don't comply. So these kinds of ideas of rules with no teeth and no consequences are just they're just pointless. Just
yes, wholeheartedly agree. There is this weird. weird kooky idea that Trump, for instance, I think he's the right person for the job. Because he's crazy enough to do it. There's a loophole in U.S. law that the president could authorize the mint to issue a $1 trillion coin or a coin for whatever astronomical value, trillions, gazillions of dollars, I guess, and just fund the government that way. It threatens the not only constitutional things and probably a lawsuit in the Supreme Court, but they'll do whatever he says anyway. And it could destabilize our currency by triggering hyperinflation. And he's crazy enough to do it. If Mitt Romney had been president or Obama had done this, no one would have ever thought those guys were insane enough to do it. But I'm afraid Trump might be. So I think Congress would capitulate and finally get rid of this debt ceiling, which I think would be the most fiscally conservative thing. Regardless, hope shines eternal because the aliens are here and they'll get rid of all that madness. I think that's why they're hovering over New Jersey.
Yeah, is that the? I just keep seeing these things in my feed about the drones in New Jersey, and the government's like, nah, it ain't us, and nobody can figure out, where they're from and what they're doing. So that's the going. Like, let me get my tinfoil hat out. Oh, I forgot to bring my tinfoil hat because this is the tinfoil hat part of our episode. Um, so aliens.
Yes, they're here. Much like Fox Mulder, I want to believe. Don't you want to believe, Robert?
So so why just New Jersey? Like because they were just like getting old broadcasts from Jersey Shore, and they decided to come to New Jersey and just stay there, or they're all just like these weird kind of Jersey Shore aliens, or what's the deal there? I mean, which I can just picture in my head, like some
Well, it's
crazy
weird
aliens.
because they used to vacation in New Mexico, I guess, because they like the green chili or the red chili. I don't know, but I guess now they're more, going to the Jersey Shore kind of islands. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah. I
know.
have a different theory on these drones and what's happening, and mine is also a pretty good tinfoil hat theory.
Uh,
Now, if anyone knows anything about flying drones or flying model airplanes, there's a recently enacted requirement called FRID,
mm-hmm.
where you have to put a GPS in your drone or radio controlled airplane if it's over a certain size, which isn't very big. It covers most flying radio controlled devices, and there's supposed to be monitored by the federal government, and there's a website so you can track what drones are in your area, and you can look on the app and find out the origin of this drone that's flying around and go give the drone pilot a good talking to about him flying it where you are.
Okay.
Which is not the intent. They're like, we don't show the location, but they on the app you can actually see a line where you can just follow it right back to wherever the drone went.
Okay.
But that's my theory is there's two stories out right now. There's the drones that fell from the sky, injuring a child like pretty badly, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen that, we'll throw that in the comments. That video on it's pretty crazy. These drones, they're having a drone light show, and drones are just falling from the sky. Um, and then there's this, and so my theory is you create a whole bunch of hoopla about drones,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can say, "See, I told you, we got to have this FRID. We must implement this in every product that's sold, and we should have harsher penalties for people caught flying without these tracking devices in their drones." That's what I think. Because the AMA, which is the American Modelers Association, has been a big proponent against this, and we've actually you're if you fly at an AMA field that has a sanction, um, you don't have to have one of these FRID devices in your aircraft. I know this because I fly model aircraft quite a bit. Um, but that's my theory. Create fear, and then people react with terrible laws.
Yeah, no, that is a great American tradition or a human tradition, as is Christmas. And of course, this wouldn't truly be Christmas if we didn't ask the age old question: is Die Hard a true Christmas movie?
100%. It's not Christmas if you haven't watched Die Hard.
Yeah, I, as a Scrooge who hates and loathes Christmas with every bone in my body, agree. So, not much argument there on arguments and logic. Well, what is your favorite Christmas movie, Robert?
I don't know that I have a favorite Christmas movie. My old time classic favorite is It's a Wonderful Life,
Okay.
which you know, is a good flick. If you haven't seen it, I would check it out. It's about this guy who is down on his luck and is going to commit suicide, and then a
Mhm.
angel comes and helps him realize that he shouldn't kill himself. So it's a very uplifting and heartwarming story that I grew up with, and I really like that.
Yeah, about
Uh,
unaliving. I think we're supposed to say unaliving. I'm gonna have to
oh,
beat that out. I
is
don't know
that the
why
new thing?
the S word became such a bad word, but he
Unaliving.
meant
What the?
unaliving, kids.
Doesn't have any teeth to it at all. Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm still going to use suicide until they come and put
Beep.
handcuffs on me for saying it.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Um.
uh, and the modern movie that I really really enjoyed that's more modern Christmas
Mhm.
movie is Fat Man.
I haven't seen that. Fat Man. Okay.
Yeah, Fat Man is assassins come to the North Pole to kill Santa Claus, and he's like this badass special forces Santa Claus that's
Oh,
been
that's with
doing black ops.
Chris Pine or one of those Marvel Heroes guys,
No, that's the
Captain
new one.
America.
That's Red One. The old one
Oh,
was with, is it Russell Crowe? I can't remember who's in it, but it's really good. It's like I didn't even realize it was a Christmas movie. I was just like, Fat Man, whatever, we'll watch this, and then I'm
Fat
like,
Man. Okay.
oh, it's really really that's probably one of my favorites as well.
Okay.
And then but there's so many. There's Gremlins. There's you know
Yes, there are a ton. My titular Christmas movie besides Die Hard, which is a classic, is The Leftovers with Paul Giamatti. It's one of those I could care less about the Oscars, but I guess in a just world it would have won an Oscar or something. It was a contender, but it's a adjunct instructor at a boys' boarding school, and I'm hard pressed to have that much empathy for rich kids in their lives, but the extreme rich do seem to be screwed almost as badly as poor kids, ironically, I guess. But he's at a boarding school, and everyone goes home for Christmas except these few kids. And there's this curmudgeon old instructor, played by Paul Giovanni, who has to watch over them. And then everyone else goes away, but this one kid, and it just gets into the melodrama of his life. And anyway, it's a well done
yeah,
little
it's a
film.
really good movie. I watched that at one point and I wasn't expecting much, but it was
Yeah.
very very well done. Yeah, the other kids get to go on like a ski vacation with the one
Hmm.
rich one, but they can't get a hold of the other kid's parents, right?
Right.
To get authorization, and so he has to stay there with you know a a guy that's a teacher borderlining on probably alcoholism, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really definitely a good kick in the pants type of Christmas movie to make you glad to be alive.
Right. Yeah. Really, really cheerful movie. It deals with mental health issues, and oh
Hmm.
yeah, it's just tons of fun. Well, on a lighter note, the votes are in, and
The
those
vote
who
is
yes,
in.
the votes are in. Those who doubted the power of your voice, your vote absolutely does count by a landslide victory of 1-0. The winner of our best movie trailer contest
One
is
zero.
yes, one vote. Thank you. I wish you'd go away. This delightful tale follows a man who finds that his wife has left him for another man on his honeymoon at a castle in Ireland. Dejected, he drowns his sorrows and stumbles upon a bog where he miraculously, say that 3 times fast, rescues a leprechaun named Finn. But Finn has a favor to repay. On Christmas Eve, he arrives at the man's doorstep demanding shelter and offering 3 wishes in exchange. Get ready for your new favorite Christmas special. Did we ever
This
decide who's playing
definitely.
Finn?
What's that?
Did we ever decide who's playing Finn? Because I
No, we're
could play.
gonna we're gonna flip a coin.
I have a better idea. Let's. I'll put a screenshot in the movie when I edit it. But I have this app where we split the universe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a quantum mechanics thing. If you believe
I
in
tried that app and I didn't understand it, so I'm
mini
probably not
worlds,
smart
bro.
enough for that app.
Supposedly, I'm not a theoretical physicist. I barely got through the physics class about kinematics, so I want to stay in my lane. But mini worlds is something where the really smart people say when you study this experiment on the double slit experiment that one of the interpretations is the mini worlds, and supposedly the math on it really checks out, but there's no way of really proving it. So it's not quite a theory; it's an interpretation of quantum mechanics, but it's a cool idea. It's different from the multiverse, but it's kind of similar.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so
Okay.
there's supposedly one universe where I play Finn, the leprechaun, and one universe where I play Barnaby, the curmudgeon guy. But let's find
All
out.
right, well, let's split the universe.
That's what I'm doing right now. Uh, I'm doing the screenshots. Oh, it's
Ooh, it's
very
making
exciting.
sound. You hear that, folks? That's the universe about to be split.
So the universe has just split. You, which is me, you are in the universe in which you should. Uh, okay, so I'm in the universe in which I play Finn.
Okay, nailed it.
Yes. Okay, nailed it. All right. Yeah, I
All
just
right.
changed the title. So, episode 1. All right, so The Luck of the Grump, aka pilot episode. I Wish You'd Go Away. Barnaby's apartment, night. Snow falls heavily outside Barnaby's Buckingham, early 40s. Rumpled, wearing an ironically
Barnaby, here, let me
ugly.
read this. Let me read this. I'm going to read this so that we can get more into it. Snow falls heavily outside. Barnaby Buckingham, a man early in his 40s, rumpled, wearing an ironically ugly Christmas sweater, is hunched over his laptop, typing with intense focus. Christmas music plays softly in the background, but he's clearly resisting it. Barnaby, that's me, right? Are you Finn?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'm Barnaby, muttering, "Bah humbug." Glances at he glances at the clock. 1 a.m. Barnaby to himself. I should be asleep, but I got a big presentation tomorrow. But no, here I am, slaving away to holiday tunes. He sighs, rubbing his temples. Ugh. Reaching for the remote, he turns off the TV suddenly. A loud bang from the hallway makes him jump. What the? He creeps toward the door, peering through the peephole. Probably just some drunk reindeer. He opens the door cautiously, revealing Finnegan O'Malley, 300 plus pounds, I guess, energetic with fiery red hair, a mischievous grin, standing amidst a scattering of gold glittering coins, holding a pot of gold.
The one and only. Though I must say, you don't look any happier to see me than the last time.
The last time? What are you talking about?
Oh, don't you remember Ireland the bog?
Barnaby's eyes widen, his mind is spinning. No, no, I don't. I think I was hallucinating.
Ah, the crack was strong that night. Ah, though I suspect something more than peat bog fumes were at play. You weren't yourself, lad. That glint in your eyes, the way you muttered about that bellhop at the castle, heartbreak, it does a number on a man, drowning your sorrows in the bog. But fear not, I have a way with these things, a little leprechaun magic, a pinch of fairy dust, and perhaps a nudge in the right direction. For you, lass, how does getting her back from that charming bellhop sound?
Barnaby scoffs, taking a swig from his bottle. Don't worry about it. We're divorced. I don't want any part of your magic. The memory of the bog still chilling to the bone.
Divorced? Now that's a shame, a crying shame. Such a handsome couple, you two. Though I must admit the lad wasn't much to look at either.
Who are you? And how do you know about anything?
Let's just say I have a long history of meddling in the affairs of mortals, especially during the holiday season.
Barnaby stares at him, bewildered, trying to piece together the fragmented memory. A drunken trip to Ireland with his ex-fiancée, a fall, a strange shimmering figure, a whispering voice. Ireland? Bog?
See, it's coming back to ya.
This can't be happening.
Oh, but it is, and as a token of my eternal gratitude, I offer you 3 wishes.
3 wishes? You sound like a genie.
I'm a leprechaun, you insensitive clod, and I'm quite offended by your lack of imagination.
Uh, Look, I don't believe in magic, and frankly, I don't want any of your wishes.
But it's the least I can do. Consider it a Christmas gift.
Barnaby, seeing no way out, reluctantly relents. Fine, you can come in and have a drink, I suppose, but that is it.
Excellent. Now where is the eggnog?
Later in Barnaby's apartment, Barnaby sits on the couch, watching Finnegan excitingly examine his Christmas decorations. Finnegan touches a small ceramic Santa Claus on the shelf, inspecting it like a fine art piece.
Oh, marvelous. This must be some sort of Christmas magic, yes?
I'm afraid, Virginia. Santa is not real after all because there's no magic in this world.
Oh, is that so? Well, let me just see about that.
He waves his hand with an exaggerated flair, and to Barnaby's shock, the ceramic Santa suddenly comes to life, blinking and stretching like it's just awoken from a long nap.
I think that's
Santa, muttering, "Ho, ho, ho, what in the name of Rudolph?" Barnaby's jaw drops. You can't just bring ceramic to life. Finnegan shrugs, clearly enjoying himself.
Of course I can. Watch this.
He flicks his wrist and the ceramic Santa combusts in a puff of smoke, leaving only a scorch mark where it once stood. What the hell? You burned him alive!
A little holiday. Magic, mate. 'Tis the season after all.
Barnaby rubs his temples, trying to process anything. This is insane. You can't just set things on fire like that.
Oh, is that? It's just a bit of fun. You should try it sometime, lad. Lighten up.
Day. Barnaby awakes on his couch to open boxes and a half-eaten pizza. My head is throbbing. I don't remember ordering pizza. The snow continues to fall outside. Finnegan is now inspecting Barnaby's Christmas tree like an art critic.
A masterpiece.
It's just a bauble.
Oh, Bobble, if I had my gold, I'd call this an artistic triumph.
Finnegan spots an empty whiskey bottle on the coffee table and his eyes light up.
Oh, now, this is more like it.
Barnaby raising an eyebrow. Problem?
Oh, well, as a leprechaun, I enjoy a drink, and this fine nectar seems to have nourished too quickly.
Well, you're welcome to join me for another, but we're going out.
Wha- Out in this weather? Why not just wish for an endless supply?
I've seen enough movies to know how that goes. People wishing for things end up miserable. We're going for a walk instead.
Fine, but I expect some appreciation for this hardship.
Exit onto New York Street daytime. Barnaby and Finnegan trudge through the snow covered streets, heading to a small bodega. Finnegan, despite his compliments, is actually enjoying the walk. Or his complaints, sorry. Finnegan, despite his complaints, is actually enjoying the walk.
Here we go. Marvelous. Imagine if I could juggle coins like that.
Barn- Please don't give them any ideas. They reach the bodega and grab a bottle of whiskey. As they exit, they bump into a woman, sending a flurry of snowflakes into the air. Woman
Oh,
laughing.
I'm sorry.
She looks at Barnaby with recognition.
Smiling. I'm Clara. We work in the same department.
Barnaby blushes slightly. Of course.
You're much more approachable outside of these office meetings.
Stiff office meetings? Finnegan steps forward, beaming.
Indeed, Barnaby here is a regular charmer, isn't he? And who might this be?
Finnegan bowing dramatically.
Finnegan O'Malley at your service. Barnaby, well, let's say, I'm his festive companion.
Clara laughing.
You're quite the character.
Finnegan winking.
Oh, and you, my dear lady, you are an absolute delight. Perhaps we can continue this charming conversation over a festive drink.
Clara smirking.
Actually, I'm hosting a Christmas party tonight. You both should come.
Barnaby bewildered. A party?
Sounds splendid. We wouldn't want to miss it.
Clara
Well,
writing down her address.
well, wonderful. I'll see you both there.
Clara smiles and walks away, leaving Barnaby and Finnegan staring after her. Barnaby muttering, what in the world did you do?
A little leprechaun magic, perhaps? Okay.
We did it, everybody. That was the pilot episode. Actually, I mean, the AI. So this was all written by an AI, right, Patrick? Is that what we
Yes,
did?
yes.
We had the AI write it. We came up. We had the AI make the trailer, and
Yeah, yeah, and thank you again to that one vote. But I realize it's hard to get some traction. So if you have watched a little bit more of this video, let us know in the comments. I'm not gonna beg as furiously as I did last time to get one comment, but it would be nice to if you just let us know that you watched a little bit more of the video. If you got this far, raise your hand in the comments.
right on. Well, thanks everybody, and Merry Christmas. That is the Christmas special in the books for Arguments and Logic, where we put the critic in critical
In,
thinking.